Hello everyone. Welcome back to Stoic Wisdom today. Do you ever feel like your emotions are in control of you, rather than the other way around? Do you find yourself getting caught up in anxiety, frustration, or anger over things you can't change? What if you could learn to navigate life's greatest challenges with a profound sense of inner calm and resilience? In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful Stoic principles to help you take back control of your emotions and find lasting peace. These aren't just abstract ideas, they are practical, actionable strategies from one of history's greatest minds. Stick around to learn how to apply these timeless truths and master your emotional landscape. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD, was a figure of immense power and responsibility. Yet, he was known for his remarkable calmness and peaceful demeanor, earning him the title of the last of the 5 good emperors. He believed that true strength was not found in war or brute force, but in a tranquil mind. He famously said, "It isn't manly to be enraged. Rather, gentleness and civility are more human, and therefore manlier. The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." This mindset allowed him to govern one of the largest empires in history while navigating personal tragedies and immense pressures. His private writings, now famously known as meditations, serve as a personal guide on self-improvement, duty, and most importantly, emotional control. Aurelius's writings on controlling one's emotions revolve around the Stoic philosophy of rationality, self-awareness, and acceptance of the natural order. He teaches us that by recognizing the power of our own minds and choosing our responses to external events, we can achieve greater emotional control and inner tranquility. The philosophy of Stoicism that Aurelius lived by involves discipline, justice, fairness, and having a great deal of control over yourself, more specifically, your emotions. His Stoic mindset managed to get Aurelius through many deaths and hardships in his life, including Roman battles with other empires and an Antonine plague that hit and devastated his empire. This is the mindset we'll be exploring in our lesson today. So, here are 5 powerful principles from the legendary Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius to help you master your emotions. Let's begin. Principle 1. Accept your fate. The Stoics taught us that a person is made of a body, a breath, and a mind. Of these, only the mind is truly ours. The body and breath are merely in our care, subject to the whims of the external world. Fate, in the Stoic sense, is the sum of all circumstances you find yourself in unwillingly. It's the things that happen to you beyond your control. As the old saying goes, it is what it is. When you refuse to accept this truth, you live in a constant state of misery, blaming yourself and the world when things don't turn out exactly as you envisioned. This is a powerful and liberating fact. You cannot control how life unfolds. No matter how hard you try to force things, the universe has its own plans. Those who refuse to accept this reality are often tormented by anger, frustration, and resentment. Think about the last time you were stuck in a traffic jam. Did you get angry, honk your horn, and mutter to yourself about how unfair it was? That anger was a direct result of your refusal to accept an external event you could not change. So, how do we apply this? Try to be brutally honest with yourself about what you can control and what you can't. You can't control traffic, the weather, a loved one's illness, or the actions of a difficult coworker. These events can deeply affect your life, but they are outside your sphere of influence. However, you can control your reaction to these events, the thoughts you choose to entertain, and your emotions. This is the cornerstone of Stoic practice. Marcus Aurelius himself faced unimaginable hardships. He endured prolonged wars on the frontiers of the Roman Empire, a devastating plague that swept through the entire known world, and the death of his children. Yet, through it all, he remained a symbol of peace and stability. He didn't achieve this by fighting every battle, but by accepting the things he could not change and focusing his energy on what was within his control, his own character and virtue. This practice is encapsulated in the famous Stoic prayer, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Aurelius once offered this profound advice on how to deal with fate. Try praying differently and see what happens. Instead of asking for a way to sleep with her, try asking for a way to stop desiring to sleep with her. Instead of a way to get rid of him, try asking for a way to not crave his demise. Instead of a way to not lose my child, try asking for a way to lose my fear of it. This quote perfectly illustrates the Stoic approach. When life doesn't align with your desires, the solution isn't to change the world, it's to change your desires. When you find yourself in a situation that triggers intense emotions, stop and ask yourself, what can I control right now? You can control your reaction. You can train your mind to overcome setbacks quickly. By accepting what you cannot change and looking for opportunities in hardships, instead of clinging to our precious desires, we find that we have a great influence over our emotions. Principle 2. Challenge your perspective. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This is one of the most powerful and transformative ideas in Stoicism. Everything that happens to us evokes emotions, and those emotions in turn shape how we see the world. Often, this leads to destructive and unhelpful thought patterns that spiral into a cycle of negativity. The key to overcoming this is to challenge those thoughts as soon as they arise. This is not about ignoring your emotions or shoving them down. Emotions, however illogical they may seem, are a natural response to your circumstances. They cannot be willed away. They have to be acknowledged and observed. But acknowledging them doesn't mean giving in to them. Instead, observe them, accept their existence, and then challenge them. How? By actively looking for the positive in every negative situation. The Stoics were masters at this. They viewed every obstacle as an opportunity, every challenge as a chance to prove themselves. They believed that while you can't choose what happens to you, you can always choose how you interpret it. A straightforward guide to doing this is by asking yourself 3 simple questions. Why does this make me feel angry, stressed, frustrated? What conclusions am I drawing as a result? Is there a more positive way to interpret this situation? Imagine you've just been laid off from your job and you're feeling angry and betrayed. Your initial thoughts might be, "My career is over," or "I'll never find a job this good again." These conclusions only intensify your negative emotions and can lead to a state of despair. But what if you challenge this perspective? Instead of thinking about the end of your career, you could see this as an opportunity for a new beginning. Perhaps this is the push you needed to start your own business, go back to school for a different degree, or find a job that aligns better with your values. Aurelius had a helpful quote on trying to understand others. Whenever someone has done wrong by you, immediately consider what notion of good or evil they had in doing it. For when you see that, you'll feel compassion instead of astonishment or rage. When you stop to consider the motivations behind someone's actions, you often realize their behavior is a result of their own struggles, their own ignorance, or their own limited perspective, not a personal attack on you. When you rationally change your perspective, your emotions will follow. It's a simple cause and effect. If your thoughts are predominantly negative, you will feel worse. But if you steer your thoughts toward the positive, your emotional state will improve. Every situation can be interpreted in multiple ways. You have the power to choose. Principle 3. Practice negative visualization. Aurelius advises us, in the morning, say to yourself, "Today I shall have to deal with an idle, curious man, with an unthankful man." We all have experience with thinking of worst-case scenarios. Often, considering those feels destructive. We make ourselves feel anxious and panicked about a hypothetical event that is most likely not going to happen. We try to push these thoughts away, but that strategy has a major downside. When something bad does happen, you are completely unprepared and distraught. The Stoics called their method of preparing for the worst negative visualization. This practice works best when you consciously engage with it. For example, before a big presentation or a new job, sit down and calmly consider the worst-case scenario. What if you mess up your lines, the technology fails, or the audience is completely unresponsive? When you start to feel anxiety, don't give in. Remain still and observe the situation objectively, as if you were a bystander. Once you've imagined the worst, you can begin to ask yourself questions. What could I do to handle this situation? Or how could I make myself feel better if this were to happen? In essence, you develop a coping strategy. When the worst does happen, you won't freeze. Instead, you'll know exactly what to do because you've already prepared for it. Preparation is a powerful medicine against intense emotions. While nerves may still be there, they won't rule over you. By regularly practicing negative visualization, you'll be prepared for every possible scenario and feel more confident in everything you do, and thus are less subject to sudden, intense emotions. This practice is not about being a pessimist. It's about being a realist who is prepared for anything. Principle 4. Use a journal. In the words of Aurelius, dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. Think constantly on the changes of the elements into each other, for such thoughts wash away the dust of earthly life. Challenging your thoughts in the moment can be extremely difficult, especially when your emotions are running high. One of the most effective practices Marcus Aurelius used himself was journaling. Not to record his day, but to examine his emotions and thoughts. When you write something down, you are forced to give it space and truly think about it. Journaling, especially about your emotions, is a habit recommended by therapists and backed by psychology. It provides a safe space to process your feelings after the fact. A good way to start is by journaling for just 10 to 20 minutes a day, perhaps every evening before bed. Don't be discouraged if you miss a day. The important part is doing it whenever you can, even if that's not as often as you would like. To help yourself, you can use prompt questions like, what emotions did I feel today? What caused those emotions? How did I act as a result? What thoughts accompanied those emotions? Do I still agree with those thoughts? Could I turn them into something more positive? Journaling gives you the power to change your thoughts, and as a result, your emotions and behavior. By reflecting on your day, you can see if you still agree with your initial thoughts, or if you would be better off rewriting them with new convictions that are more rational or helpful. This practice of self-reflection and re-evaluation is a core Stoic discipline. Principle 5. Remember that life is fleeting. In our final quote from Marcus Aurelius, he says, think of the life you have lived until now as over, and as a dead man, see what's left as a bonus and live it according to nature. Love the hand that fate deals you and play it as your own, for what could be more fitting? This is a powerful piece of wisdom that helps Stoics stay in control of their emotions. By remembering that life is fleeting and could be over at any moment, you are forced to think about the big picture. What is truly important enough to focus on, and what is a complete waste of time? Imagine you are overwhelmed with stress over a deadline or a fight with a family member. Now ask yourself, will this still matter in a week, in a year, in 5 years? Looking at the big picture can instantly calm you down and help you realize that very few things are as devastating as they seem. This practice helps you gain perspective on what is bothering you. When you take a step back, you'll realize that nothing is as permanent as it seems, and there are always more options than you think. The more you learn to consider all the effects and options of something that is happening, the more you'll find that situations don't plague you with all kinds of intense emotions anymore. Conclusion: the path to inner tranquility. We've covered 5 powerful principles from Marcus Aurelius, all designed to help you master your emotions and find inner peace. The journey begins with accepting your fate, recognizing what you can and cannot control, and shifting your focus to your own reactions. From there, you learn to challenge your perspective, seeing every obstacle as an opportunity for growth. By practicing negative visualization, you prepare your mind for life's inevitable setbacks, turning fear into confidence. The habit of using a journal provides a crucial space to reflect on your emotions, giving you the power to rewrite your negative thoughts into rational, helpful ones. Finally, remembering that life is fleeting offers the ultimate perspective check, allowing you to let go of trivial worries and focus on what truly matters. What is the single most powerful lesson about emotional control that you have learned today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found value here and are ready to begin your journey to a more peaceful life, Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos to help you find success and happiness. Thanks so much for watching Stoic Wisdom today. And as always, stay grounded, stay wise, stay stoic.